Hi everyone, it's Maestra Julia here to give you a quick recap of what we've been learning during math to give you a quick refresher either at the start or at the end of your fall break. So first let's look at a simple multiplication equation, 3 times 4. Now when we look at 3 times 4, we call the numbers that we're multiplying together factors, and a factor times a factor equals a product. Now what's neat is we can take those factors and turn them into dimensions of a rectangle. And when we count up the inside of that rectangle, we get the answer. Here, 3 times 4 gives us the area of 12. So in other words, and I'm going to try to write this sideways, when we have a multiplication equation, we can use a rectangle to find our answer by turning the factors into the dimensions, and the area becomes our product or our answer. Now let's try another one. Let's look at 3 times 12, a slightly bigger number. I'm going to start by drawing my first factor, 3, as a dimension of a rectangle. And I want you to notice how I drew my lines right next to those boxes. If I draw them too big, I might end up actually drawing 5 boxes worth, which is not what I want. In order for this strategy to work, we have to be really careful and make sure that our drawing matches the little boxes so that we can count it up correctly. So now I'm going to move on to my other dimension, which is 12. I'm going to break that up into 10 and 2. Do you see how I did my 10s and then my 1s? Now I'm going to finish closing out my rectangle, and I'm going to multiply out the two different parts. So 3 times 10 is 30, and 3 times 2 is 6. Now I'm going to put them together. 30 plus 6. I'm going to start with my 1s. 0 plus 6 is 6, and 3 plus nothing is 3. So my answer to 3 times 12 is 36. Do you see how the area of that rectangle gave us the answer to our multiplication problem? Now let's try another one. Let's look at 5 times a big number like 25. I'm going to start the same way, drawing my first factor as a dimension of a rectangle, 5. Then I'm going to move on to 25. And you see how for each of those 10s I'm drawing a long line. So it's 10, 10, and 5, which makes 25. Then I'm going to close out my rectangle using a different color. And I'm going to split it up into 3 parts and multiply each one out. 5 times 10 is 50, 5 times 10 is 50, and 5 times 5 is 25. Now put them all together. 50 plus 25. Start with my 1s, 5 and 12. I get 125. Let's look at one more. Let's do 7 times 26. Quiz yourself as you go. What would you do next? I do my first dimension, my second dimension, breaking it up into 10, 10, and 6, which makes 26. I'm going to close out my rectangle, split it up into 3 parts, and multiply each one out. 7 times 10 is 70, 7 times 10 is 70, and 7 times 6 is 42. Now I'm going to stack my numbers very carefully, nice and neat, start with my 1s, then go over to my 10s, and I get 182. I hope this refresher helped you. Bye!